Hey there, Dango Stu here. Today's video is about servicing the carburetor from a Johnson 30 horsepower outboard and is proudly sponsored by MarineEngine.com. We'll quickly remove this carburetor, then we'll just take it over to the bench. I've already removed the prime solenoid from this outboard, so we don't have that to worry about. But we've got our throttle linkage here, so we'll just pop that off. We'll leave that up here. Now this is mounted with 2 bolts, but this one in here looks quite hard to get to with the starter motor in place. So I think I'm actually going to take the starter motor out in order to get the carburetor off. We'll start with this nut here, which is a 1/2 inch nut, and then looks like there's a smaller bolt that goes through here, but this is also where the gear selector linkage is pivoted from, so we might have to undo this as well. Bolt on the side was a 7/16, gear selector brackets 5/16. I want to take this other 5/16 bolt out, but I can't get to it because of this little stopper. It looks like an adjustable stopper here. So we'll unbolt this here from the exhaust cover. Looks like down here, this is actually a part of the engine block, and this is the starter motor mount. So I'm going to take this bolt out too. Starter motor mount's starting to wobble now, so I'd say this is the last one. This is an 11mm spanner, so I'd say it's a 7/16 bolt. Looks like one of those rare times that a ratchet spanner actually fits in and I can use it. Alright, take this main positive lead from the solenoid. So I've just put everything back loosely just to save me remembering where it goes and save me from losing anything. This is now giving me good access to the nut on this side. This one I just got to pull the throttle out of the way. I can get to that easily as well, and these are both 1/2 inch nuts. This is hitting the carburetor here, so I'll just back the other one, pull it forward, keep going. So same thing on the other side, both the nuts have bottomed out now. Pull the carburetor forward, go a bit further. Just put these nuts back on the studs, then we'll take this fuel line off from the bottom and get over to the bench. So a little bit harder to get off than I would have hoped, but not too bad. This is the kit I have to service this carburetor. There's the part number there. I'll put a link in the description to the MarineEngine.com website if you want to buy one. So what I'm going to do first actually is just open it up, see what's in the kit, so we know what we need to keep and what we're going to be replacing. We've got 3 gaskets here, a new float. In here we've got a new needle and seat to go with the float. Then in here we've just got an assortment of sort of seals, pins, caps, all that kind of stuff, so we'll see how we go. I'll start by just pulling this apart. We'll put all the bits in a parts tray and we'll give the jets and everything a bit of a clean, see what condition's in. We'll sort of play it by ear really. We'll start by just taking this top cover off. The basic principles are very similar with all carburetors, but they do have their own little, ways of achieving certain things. And I've got to confess, I'm not super familiar with Evinrude carburetors, but how hard can it be? Cover's a bit oily. On the top here we got the fuel in from the primer, and on this side we got a little air orifice that I'll clean out while we're here. I'll do all the cleaning at once, so I'll just disassemble it to start with. On the top here is the gasket to seal the top plate. Once again, pretty oily underneath, so it'll be good to give it a clean up. This gasket's a good match for it, so we can safely sort of get rid of that. On this side here we have an idle mixture screw. Normally what you do is wind them in, count how many turns in it is, and that way you know how many turns out it has to come back out when you put it back in. In this case it looks really compressed, so I doubt it's going to go in very far, which makes me think it's probably not where it should be anyway. So I'll wind it in, we'll see how many turns it is, take it out, but I don't think that's right. So it's really only 1 and a bit turns out, so I'd say it's not out far enough, but we'll tune it up properly once it's all back together and running. So mixture screw and the spring. Now we'll take the float bowl off. Once you start taking screws out from multiple locations, it's good just to compare them, see whether you can get them confused. In this case they're a different diameter, so you can't get them in the wrong place. Really all you're looking for is screws that have the same diameter, same thread pitch, but a different length. That's where you can get into trouble. Float bowl looks nice and clean, that's good. There's a drain plug in the bottom here. I'll take the drain plug out because it's got a little fibre washer on it that we'll replace with the one from the kit. Inside here, behind, so it's actually in this section here, but you access it through the drain plug, is the main jet for this carburetor. So we'll take that out next. The trick with getting these jets out is to find a screwdriver that fits in, but make sure it only just fits. That way you've got as much blade as possible in the jet itself, which gives you the least chance of damaging it. So here's the jet out now. It looks reasonably clear. So around the float bowl we've got another gasket, so we'll take that off. And pretty confident we've got the right kit now, because this matches perfectly too. So we'll put that aside. To get the float bowl itself off, we need to take this pin out here. So we can just pull that out. And that's the pin the float pivots on. And there you can see hanging off it is the needle. And this is the seat. The idea with this little needle and seat is it's a valve to block the fuel off. As this float rises up, as the fuel pump puts fuel into the bowl here, then the needle pushes up into the seat and blocks the fuel off. As the fuel gets used up, it drops and this little valve opens, more fuel can come in. The little needle and seat kit has the needle here, the little clip that holds it on, and a sealing washer to go around the seat. The pivot pin for the float actually was included in the main kit over here. When the bowl goes on, there's a top section here that seals around here, and there's another seal there we'll be replacing. So we'll take that off and we'll replace that as well. Taking out the seat for the float bowl is a good opportunity to actually show what I was talking about before, which is it's got a slot in it. Obviously your screwdriver needs to fit in it. In this case here though, you can see the screwdriver I've got at the moment slightly smaller than the slot. So what I'm going to do is find one a bit larger to make sure we don't damage the soft metal of this seat. Yes, in this case we're replacing it, but it's good practice. You can see here this screwdriver is pretty much the same width as the seat, so I'll use this one. Alright, there's the old seat, and then there's the old sealing washer. About the only other thing we have in our kit that we can replace is this little retainer here. It's pushed onto this shaft and it retains this spring here. There's nothing wrong with that, so I'm just going to leave that in place, save fiddling with it. Alright, before we start putting this back together, I'm going to give it a bit of a clean. So I'll start by just spraying a bit of carburetor cleaner, then I'll use some compressed air. I'll just go grab my glasses, half so I can see and half so I don't get carburetor cleaner in my eyes. I'm going to start at the top here. You'll see there's a couple of very small orifices here, so I'm going to get some carb cleaner down here, down here, down here, and then blow it all out. If you don't have an air compressor, you can actually buy compressed air just in small aerosol cans. And it's a great way just to do single carburetor cleans like this. Probably lasts 3 or 4 carburetors, to be honest. This here is the hole where our tapered idle mixture screw went in. So I'm definitely going to get a bit of extra carb cleaner in there. At the centre here is the emulsion tube that helps maintain the correct air-fuel ratio. This is affected by how much fuel comes up here. So this is why it's really important that the needle and seat close off at the correct height. So we'll talk a bit later about setting the level for the float as well. Alright, then we had the little air orifice from the top. It looks pretty clean, but while we're here, with these larger jets and orifices, you can actually get sets of carburetor cleaner brushes. So I'm going to find a brush that just fits in, like this one fits quite nicely. It's tight, but it fits through reasonably well. And then we'll clean it out with the brush as well. So in the case of a air orifice like this, if it's blocked up, you'll be running too rich. And in the case of a fuel jet, if it's blocked up, you'll be running too lean. Now everything's been cleaned out, we'll start putting it back together. Often with these kits, and definitely with this kit, you end up with a lot more parts than you need, and that's because they cover sort of a range of valve boards. So we'll start here by replacing the original fibre washer for the drain plug. Before we can put the drain plug back in, I need to put that main jet back in, so we'll grab that, drop it in. With these jets, they just wind all the way in, so you want them to be snug. You don't want to break anything, but you don't want them coming loose either. They're not like idle screws where they need to be set to a particular position, they just put all the way. Alright, now I can put the bowl drain back in with its new washer. Around the emulsion tube we had another seal, which was this one. So grab a new one of those and then just push it down onto the tube. Next I'm going to install the new needle and seat. If you have a look at the old needle there, you can see this little hook is looped around it and then it slots over the arm for the float. So I'll install that bit first. So this end here is the little hook and it just clips on to the needle like that. Then once the needle's free to hang, we can put it onto the float. I'll get the new seat in before we do that though, and there's the little sealing washer that goes around it. And just snug it up. One of the things that can throw the float level out really quickly is just simply having it in the wrong way around. So in this case, this cutout U section goes down into the bowl, but if you're doing a different carburetor, just pay attention to which way it is when you take it out. So if this section's down, we need the needle pointing up, like that. So it's upside down, but that's the way it's going to be in the boat. Once you've got it all rigged up, just drop the needle down into the seat like this. And then I'm going to go fetch the pivot pin that goes through here. Doesn't look like it matters which way it goes through on this one, so you can push it through from either side. This is the point now where you'd be setting your float level before you put the float bowl back on. If you hold the carburetor upside down, you can then measure the distance between the base of the carburetor here and the top of the float bowl here. In the case of these Johnson Evinrudes, there's actually a tool that goes over the top that you measure it against. It sort of arches up and over and touches here, but I don't have one. Although the service manual says to put the special tool on, what I'm reading is it needs to be level. And you can see here, it's dipping down a little bit at the front. So what I'm going to do is bend this arm here until this is sitting level with the body of the carburetor. I'm going to do this gently, a little bit at a time. What I don't want to be doing is sort of flexing it up, going back, up, and keep overshooting and end up fatiguing it. You can see here now it's sitting much closer to level. It has overshot maybe slightly, but I actually did read that it's better to have this end slightly up, so that's the way I'm going to leave it. The other measurement is when you hold it up, how far does it drop down, and you adjust that by bending this little tab here on the back. With the carburetor hanging this way, I read it should be between 28 and 41 millimeters this way, and it is, so I'm going to leave that. Now I'm just going to put the new float bowl gasket on and screw the float bowl back down. For the screws for the carburetor bowl, the manual calls for a little bit of Loctite or thread locker on the screws, so We'll do that. As always, these screws, I'm just going to tighten them in the diagonals. Keep the pressure even, keep them snug. I want the gaskets to do its work. I'm not going to crank them so hard that I distort anything, but I don't want it leaking. With the idle mixture screw, I'm just going to put the spring back on and then wind it all the way in and then wind it back out about 2.5 turns. We'll tune it up properly once the motor's running again. So seat it all the way down gently, and then for me 2.5 turns, I find it easier just to count half turns, so I'll go 5 half turns back out. Getting the correct orientation of the top cover gasket's much easier by putting it on the cover first. You can see here there's a little pin or a dowel here that goes through a hole in the gasket, and then it's good like that. Same here, even more so given it's made out of plastic. Snug, but don't distort it, don't break it. Last thing now is just putting the air bleed orifice back in the top cover, and we're pretty much done. The last gasket we have left is the one that goes between the carburetor itself and the engine block where the reed valves are. It's really important this seals well, because if air can get between the carburetor and the block, you have a vacuum leak, which means the engine's going to be running lean. You've got the correct fuel air mixture coming through the carburetor, then you've got extra fresh air, meaning you've got too much air, not enough fuel. This has got a bit of old gasket left on, so I'm going to clean up both the carburetor and the block before we put it back on. Now both surfaces are clear, we're just going to put the new gasket on dry and then pop the carburetor back on. It's a little bit fiddly getting these nuts back on due to the shaft of the butterfly valve being in the way, but if you keep the carburetor forward, get them started, then you can just start to work the carburetor back towards the block as you do the nuts up. Then just do them up with a 1/2 inch spanner. No, it's not stolen, it actually is 1/2 inch. We want these reasonably snug to avoid that vacuum leak we were talking about earlier. At this point in proceedings, we'd be reconnecting the prime start, reconnecting the hose from the fuel pump, all that kind of thing, squeezing the primer bulb and looking for leaks. If you found a leak, obviously you just need to sort that out. In this case, I don't have those other things connected yet because we're giving this motor the overhaul, but you get the idea. Alright, well I hope this video has helped you if you're looking to service the carburetor on your Johnson Evinrude outboard. We will push on next and do the fuel pump, but until then take care and I'll catch you soon. See ya.